Hi, I'm Anthony. You're watching the Fatherhood Series with Men and Marriage.
Got a story to tell. Got a story to tell.
Because he's loving and caring to me, I want to just grow up to be just like him.
Fatherhood has impacted me over this last year. I'm really grateful for my dad because his determination to see me do better is something to just really take on board and try and do the same for when I have my kids, because I'm a good son but as well as a difficult son. My dad's had a lot of kids and he can be quite tired sometimes, so he'll snap or tell you something. But running my own business and my father having his own business, telling me how to develop myself and to do better and to generate more, and for him to tell me and to give me the time and patience and use his fatherhood skills to not drive me away or push me away from him, to keep me coming back to him for more information and keep me seeking.
It's never too late to strike up that bond with father and son. And if you can get past all of the past issues, so I'm talking to grown men, I'm talking to men that probably your relationship with your dad was cool, but it wasn't what you wanted it to be. If you can be big enough and man enough to say, you know what, we can start wherever. And I think the love of a son to their father is always fresh, it's always unique. And I don't think any son will feel like they can't have a great bond with their dad. Every son wants to have a killer bond with their dad. So for me, this year, there's just the impact is that if you can be strong enough to let go of the past and allow the future to be rich regarding relationship between father and son, and start. It doesn't matter where you start somewhere. I think that it will be such an encouragement, not only to yourself, but if you have children, it will be encouragement to your children. And I just think a great example in life for men, whether they relate to you or not.
I don't think I could actually quantify it in a year, because in any given year there are events that take place that require an attention to detail, perhaps to one person over and above another, and that is not changed throughout my lifetime. Sometimes one child requires more attention than another, and I guess that may have happened in the last year. But things that have impacted my life, I can't think of anything in the last year that has impacted my life that has not happened in all the previous years of fatherhood.
One way fatherhood has impacted me, specifically over the last year, is that as I get older, as I move forward in life, as I progress, because what me and my wife are trying to get forward is we're getting our mortgage, we're getting our foundations set, and this is all kind of gearing me up to becoming a father. I know that's the next step. As soon as I get my mortgage, as soon as we start kind of setting our foundation, that's the next plan, is to start our family. So everything I've learned from my father and I've taken on, and even my brothers in terms of their fatherhood, I watch their journey carefully, and I watch every move they make, every single part of their fatherhood. I listen, I understand, and I gather my own kind of understanding of it. And I'm kind of, I'm just gearing up and waiting for when it's my turn. So as soon as it's my turn, I take what I've learned from there and apply it to my life and my walk. So especially in the last year of coming closer to my goal, I'm understanding it more, because it's like as soon as you're getting closer to the finish line, things start making sense. And now everything that I didn't understand before from my father and what he was doing and why he did it, I start understanding it as I grow older and as I get wiser. And I even as soon as I get into fatherhood, I'm still gonna be learning, but I'm still gonna be growing and moving forward, and it's still gonna be understanding what my father was teaching me, and that's how I'm gonna move forward in life.
Yeah, I'd probably say when my daughter, we had the first problem with my daughter, and when it hits you, it's a bit of a different ball game, because you start to reflect and realise, I must have done this to my parents untold times. My children are quite good. I don't really have any issues, but she hit adolescence, and it was as if somebody flipped a switch, and there were changes in personality and character, and there was a couple of challenging situations, and it was quite ironic, because when these problems started to happen, and it just seemed to happen overnight, all at once, there were two key things that I learned, and the first one was, you can never ever take your eye off the ball. Never ever take your eye off the ball. And you might say, what do you mean by that, Anthony? Don't ever let your work or anything else be more important than understanding what's happening with your children. That's arguably one of the biggest things I learned. And I'm fortunate that, as demanding as my job is, and the other roles that I do as well, that I didn't allow that to not let me see these slight changes. I was still perceptive and could see that things weren't as they should be. And that was really important, because it's very easy to get lost in loads of other things, and you only realise it when it's too late. And the second thing was, when some of these issues were happening, that it's very easy to knee-jerk as well, and think that your child's the worst child in the world, and why is it only happening to us, and all these, and a number of different things. And people with a good heart were coming out and saying, you should do this and you should do that and do this and that. And I was like, we just need calm heads. I said, we need calm heads. And the thing I learned was, and it's got such a direct correlation to marriage as well, which was, she's 12, and for the best part of 11 years, we've never had an issue with her. And at the first sign of problems, we can't then start to react as if she's got two heads. This is part of what parenting is. And so we've got to rough it out. It's as simple as that. We've just got to work it out. And I think that when that mindset came to me, and sat down and spoke to my wife about it, it gave us a much better perception of what was actually going on and how to do it. As I say, you have that very similar correlation in marriage, where you are going to get some very sticky bits, but that's part of it. And children who will do things that will embarrass you, let you down, make you think, where did I go wrong? Sometimes you haven't gone wrong, it's just part of being a child. But it's easy said and done for people, but when you're actually in it, it's a slightly different ball game. So those were the two things really.
It's made me look at my work-life balance. It's made me recognise how much I sacrifice freedom for security. and how much time I also waste, not on purpose, but it's just a mismanagement because we're so hooked on bills and work and house, and that we quality of life sometimes is hijacked for standard of living. We all do it, and I think this year more than any year I've just decided to make a conscious effort on saying no, that the kids literally come first.
I think it's made me realise how I need to juggle various sections of my life, where you've got work and raising a child. Over the last year, well, just beyond a year, like we've moved, for example, and I've got a different job. We've moved to the other side of London, which are all things that we needed to do, but the decisions. The reason why we did those things wasn't just because of the work, it was also because I thought, as a father, I wanted to bring him up in the best area I could put him into. I wanted to get him into the right school. So if it wasn't just for that, would I have moved? It would have varied on, that would have depended on other situations.
I think parents go into this autopilot to say, if I'm working, if I'm sticking to my 9-to-5 job and coming back all late hours, putting the roof over the head, the clothes on, on the children's back and food on the table, it justifies me to say money doesn't grow on trees, don't you know, to my children. And I think that we bring all this kind of script in to and cloud the issue of actually spending quality time with our children. It's just so valuable. It's so important. And this year I've noticed that I've made a conscious effort to change how I'm actually making an impact in their lives.
The priority of being a father, that you realise that outweighs the priority of whatever your job is, and it's just a case of juggling all of that at the same time, and making sure that you're focusing those priorities in the right way.
Never ever take your eye off the ball. Never get yourself too busy in anything else to not be aware of how your children are, and don't knee-jerk when problems happen. It's part of it. It's going to happen because they're human, and I made those mistakes. Maybe not exactly the same ones, but I did. And try and remember your own, because I think sometimes there is a default where we think once we've gone past that stage, we went to bed and we woke up next morning, we were an adult, and 15 years just seemed to just teleport us, and all those problems and stuff that we gave our parents, we just seem to forget about. So that really held us in good stead, and we obviously we're never out of the woods, because you'd always been worrying about your children and caring for them. But those two things in particular really did help.
Your children don't care that your sales this year were X amount of money, or you brought in this amount of money in fees. Your kids won't care at all. What your kids will care about is how much time you spent with them. They don't care how expensive your holidays are. Your kids all they will care about is the number of hours they spent with you doing stuff that they wanted to do. Not expensive stuff, not with expensive gadgets, it's just hours. So I think that's the key balance between, you're doing it for your job, and you're doing your job often for your family, but if you never see your family, what's the point of doing the job? And I think that's one of the key things that I think so many dads get caught up in. Because also, you do work for yourself as well. It's your own sort of selfish gain in a way, but it's just a case of getting that balance right. And I think getting that priority correct is, it's crucial.
I think the one thing that stays drilled in my head, that's passed from my father to me, is that he never gave up. No matter how how much I may have gone astray or left or right or whatever, he would never give up on me. Because frustration kicked in, but he was always there. And I will never give up on my son, my daughter, for as long as I breathe. To the day I die.
But I guess one specific child has gone through a difficult period, and he's not been able to see his children for quite a long period of time, and I've watched the impact it's had on him and how it's tore him apart, and the frustration and the anger that can sometimes develop as a result of that. And I guess all I've done is just tried to be there and hold him when he needs support, but to perhaps push him in the right direction, make him think a bit broader, think the consequences of his actions before he does them, because every action has a consequence. One must think about these things. And so I guess from that point of view, during the last year, my attention to one particular child has required more of my resources, more of my skills, my management, my influence over this last year. And it's quite sad to see when a parent has no access to his natural children, for whatever reason. For whatever reason there is, I don't believe, assuming that there is nothing ulterior about it, you know, but assuming that it's a breakdown in relationship between parents, there shouldn't be a reason why one parent would stop another parent from seeing his natural children, which has been in the case of my son. And that's kind of been a bit tricky, but that's the most influential thing that's happened to me during this last 12 months.
The fatherhood that my dad has allowed me to have from him is excellent. It's just affected me so much this year. He's helped me to develop my business and my personal life, and within my Christianity, and just within socially, or how to negotiate in terms of business deals, or in terms of how to present myself, how to organize my life, how to keep a diary, how to just even hanging up, washing and ironing my clothes, how to have a mental log of what I want to do in the day. All of that information and the structure in my life comes from my father.
Father and son, man, you know, having much of that. So I think that's what people need to see, you know. So if it's working, fantastic. If it wasn't working and you have opportunity to make it work, by any means necessary, just make it work, because I think that's what people need to see these days. It's just good father and son bonding relationship, whatever you want to call it. So and it's been a great impact to me, because I've always had good mentors in my life, and I've always had good people around me saying good stuff to me, but ain't nothing like when your dad tells you, and it's not the same, you know. So even growing up in a great church background, having great pastors around me, having great people around me, and they speak words of life into me, it's been fantastic. But ain't like when your dad tells you, and no, just don't. It's just not the same. When your dad tells you that you're blessed and you're a great man, that's it. Yeah, you can change the world. So it's been good for me.
Get our children to write down all of their goals. And if you can see here, we're at the stage of writing down all our plans, from health and fitness, places to go, music that they would like to listen to or play, friends, hobbies, languages, finances, school. So we have all these categories, family and ministry. All of these things have their own strand, and they write down the things that they would like to experience, explore, discover, complete.